Welcome back. We have a match from Homestory Cup 18. Two names you most definitely should know. One making waves lately, and one a historic name in Starcraft 2. And we're going to be looking through the eyes of these pro gamers. Let me introduce you to, well, Reborn. It is Liquid Taeja, a Titan of 2012, 2013. He eventually had some issues with wrist problems, had to go to military service in Korea, but he's back. But can he hang with the best? Can he, though? A lot of players have tried to come back and play, but have not found success. There's no greater test than his opponent. On the other side, it is ENCE Esports, the best player in the world. It's Serral, the finisher. Now, Homestory Cup is the first tournament on the new balance patch at the end of 2018 through 2019. So these players are playing with the general meta is similar, and a lot of players won't experiment too much, especially if there's a tournament the next day. Well, the next week or a couple weeks after. We'll see if we see any different variety. I'll point out some things that change. Like, some of the big ones are Hydra DPS is slightly lower, so that might open up more opportunities or more interest in going for things like Mutas or Roach Ravager, stuff like that. For Terran, the Thor does a little bit less splash damage to Mutas, which is why I mention it. The Cyclone has been reverted to its older state, where it just locks onto a single unit. It's a lot more fragile and requires a tech lab, so you can't mass it up as quickly. Another one, the Battle Cruiser now attacks while moving, effectively increasing its DPS by a lot. And overall, its DPS is increased even just standing still by 20%. Is that enough to see Taeja use it? Looking at the rest of Homestory Cup, Terrans weren't really experimenting much with those newer units, besides maybe once or twice in some like cheesy rushes. But we'll see. What is Taeja comfortable with? Is he back? And just a few months ago, before this tournament, is when he announced he's back, and Team Liquid picked him up again. So credit to them for knowing talent when they see it. But we'll see. Now, we're going to be looking at the first-person perspective. We're going to see what he's selecting. You can see the production tab. You got the army values. You get an idea. That's mostly for us. They can't see that, of course. Players can't see the production tab or what's producing or what the supplies of their opponents are. But that's so we can keep up with these players, both of which are well, they're going to easily be over 300, 400. Serral actually, I think, breaks 500 actions per minute on average, even in longer games. So I'll do my best to keep up. And also, I'm kind of here to learn some builds, learn some strategies, and we're going to be mostly following Taeja throughout the series. It's a best of 5. But I have a feeling it's not going to be quick and easy. So maybe I can learn some new Terran builds. I've been watching a lot of Serral in first person, and I don't really want to get any more nausea from the ridiculous speed.
Command center upgrade
who knows
complete.
if Taeja is going to help that out or not. But the creep has already begun. Oh, that's another one. Creep had a slight nerf. Well, not slight, a pretty significant nerf. It now spreads about 1/3 less quickly, which is, it makes it a lot more difficult to really push that creep out to the point where they have to spend multiple scans and time to clear it out. You really got to focus on your creep spread more as Zerg in order to get it to a point where it's going to be very helpful in the fight. But what do we have going on for Taeja? It looks like he's opting for a Raven to follow this up. A very safe choice. Still has its auto turret. And in general, Ravens are great utility. A Raven can help you play defense with the auto turrets and the anti-armor missile. Anti-armor missile lost its damage, but it's an anti-armor missile, not a seeker missile. So now, will Taeja go into Bile? Historically, years ago, half a decade ago, I'm goddamn old, Taeja was known as one of the best Bile players. Mech wasn't really much of a thing in Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm. Not nearly as much as like Marine tank type of Terran play. And he was incredibly accomplished at that. Some of the best micro, really ahead of his time, to be honest. But now can he keep up with today's Zerg players? It's going to be a Raven early. This is one of the safest builds you can do while still getting 3 command centers. Now, what I mean by that is he's got the Hellions he's poking out. He has a Raven, just in case. That Raven going to be useful later. He can clear creep with it. It's just basic utility. Going for a Banshee means an investment in something that might not pay off. Whereas a Raven, while it probably won't do as much as a Cloaked Banshee in a place with no detection, you're always going to find a use for a Raven. It's like a Swiss Army knife for Terran. but it's still very greedy. If Serral was able to sneak out a bunch of roaches and zerglings, and the Hellions didn't quite see it, he might be dead, but it's kind of a calculated risk. You're checking the drone counts, the fact that Serral did so much creep spread early. He has 4 queens now. It's unlikely there's a bunch of roaches and ravagers coming. So he feels safe to get those upgrades. Engineering base at the back. We've actually seen more players doing that. For a while, people would build their engineering base at the wall, because, I mean, it's nice to wall off with, right? But losing upgrades is a lot of the time synonymous with losing the game. Like, if one of your engine bays happens to get picked off by, like, Zerglings or something, that's a massive blow. And a lot of Terrans have been kind of just a little bit of a supply block here. Taeja, what a noob. 365 APM, but couldn't even build a supply depots. That actually does hurt. This is a really bad supply block, because he just dropped mules before it. Did he just wall off his own tank? I know that feel. We all know that feel.
Add-on complete.
But he has gotten through the supply block. The upgrades are on the way. Still about to finish. The first 2 medevacs coming out.
Research complete.
And the wall off. This is something you'll see. Terrans of this caliber, you always do the wall. It's a lot of depots and a lot of effort, but getting that whole area walled off, if you have the speed and the presence of mind to actually go back and if there are Zerglings or Banelings coming in, just a little bit more time to deal with them makes a massive difference at this caliber of play. Alright, the Hellions, he's doing a good job keeping control of the creep, and notice he's focusing on this left side where it's more than likely he's going to push with medevacs and tanks later on. The 4th base is a big part of a Zerg player being able to keep up with production. Without the 4th base, you don't have the larva to go for those heavy Ling and Baneling strategies. And, of course, the economy. The larva is the big one early on to deal with follow-up pushes, but also having the economy to go for more tech, more gas, things like Ultras, which have a speed upgrade now off a creep. The Zerglings are coming in. Does he notice? The Zerglings get by. Taeja, a little bit out of position, not realizing the Zerglings are getting past the wall as he tries to clear the creep. The depots will raise. A few SCVs will go down as he micros on the other side. Targets a few Banes, loses a couple Marines, deals with the counterattack, but it slowed him down. It didn't allow him to focus as much at the front, but you see there, a little bit not paying attention, and a few Zerglings get in and slow everything down.
Research complete.
Not a huge blow, but he's playing against the best player in the world, so you don't want to slip up at all, obviously. This is game number 1 of a best of 5. We could go all 5. The creep already being shut down again. You can already kind of feel, if you've watched TVZ in the last few months compared with today, how the creep spread, even with Serral, is just, while Taeja's been very on top of it, it just doesn't feel nearly as overwhelming. It's kind of smothering sometimes if it gets close enough. It feels like you can never move out. But Taeja's done a good job of holding on to it. And yeah, vehicle armor is on the way. This is something we've seen, well, it's mines. Mech weapons are definitely for siege tanks, so vehicle armor makes a lot of sense. On top of the drilling claws. Drilling claws has been upgraded once again. Mines retain their cloak after firing once drilling claws is done. So they're back to the Widow mines of old. Of course, it requires an armory, it requires that upgrade, but once you get it, those mines can stick around until they're killed, as long as they don't explode on top of paint. You see this aggressive defense here out of Taeja. He always, and the target fire as well, but the attack on the left side, a lot of units get taken out. Those were just Hellions. He's not too worried about those. The rest of the units are coming down. The planetary is nearly done. 2-2 is on the way. Serral's 2-2, which Taeja, I'm sure, has been keeping track of and watching these units, is a little bit further out. He does have the attack upgrade, but Taeja will actually attack in. We're off a creep. He has a lot of mines at the back line. He doesn't want them firing on his own units as well. You can tell they have the drilling claws upgrade by the little laser sight on the top. But the attack on the right, the depot, unfortunately, he raised it in time. He's going to look for the flank on the other side. Widow mine coming in the back. The reinforcements were held at home. It should be enough. Taeja's at 200 supply before 9:30 with 2-2 on the way. Take note. 4 bases. He's got 72 SCVs. Now, Serral has 93 drones, but that's neither here nor there. These players maxing out on massive economies before 10 minutes. The drilling claws, Widow mines. He's just standing his ground against Banelings. 2-2 finishes. This is the timing to attack for Taeja. He's targeting down as many creep tumors as he can. The Widow mines, oh no! The friendly fire! Serral almost able to draw the Widow mines in to the medevacs and kill them off. If he gets all those, that opens up an opportunity to potentially go and attack the 4th, and with it maybe take the game. But The Widow Mines don't hurt bad enough, and the Hydras aren't able to close the distance. 3-3 has started up, but Serral also has a Hive coming up. I'm sure Taeja knows how little pressure he's actually been able to put on Serral. It's just shallow, superficial pressure. He hasn't really killed drones or bases, but he is maxed out. He's got 3-3 on the way. He's got a lot of Marines.
This better be good.
Widow Mine's coming in. The scan, he sees the infestation pit, that's all he needs. He knows the Hive is coming. It's not going to be Swarm Hose. There could be Hive at any moment. He's got to be very careful not to take an engagement without realizing how much tech that Serral has. Widow Mine drop coming in. Drop it down. Burrow. Very hard to react in time, especially if you're doing anything else. Sees a Viper as well, so Taeja gets a good beat. Now opens up an opportunity to clear some creep at the front.
Your forces are under attack.
There's still that base on the left side. He's going to want to pressure. Ghosts are on the way. The Ghost Academy has completed. Cloak is coming up as well. On the other side for Serral, Adrenal Glands.
We could use some help here.
Taeja looking for an opportunity to actually get damage done. He saw for a split second the Banelings try to burrow. Not going to get hit by that. Concussive shells on the way. Missed that upgrade a little bit, but he's really Marine heavy. Right now, 74 Marines and 8 Marauders. A couple Ghosts being added in. There go the Changelings. Taeja's able to zone out that base, essentially. But Serral looking for an opportunity to hold on. Taeja sees a big counterattack. He's already setting up with the sensor tower. Here come the Banelings. The creep is receding. A double drop going to go to the other side. This is just, it's mostly creep control he's doing right now. Trying to keep a little bit sloppy on setting up the drop there, but going to bring a few more units down so he can establish this base. The thing is, both players are maxed out and banking money. Taeja might want to get a little bit more gas. Surprising a bio Terran who's actually spending his gas, right? This is actually kind of a rare sight. But he's really focused on getting that tech. He didn't miss a beat. A lot of Terran players will be like, well, now we're attacking with Marines. Well, Marines aren't going to work. The Marines getting caught in the center. But it was only Zerglings to deal with it. He actually just flies there. Oh, no. Wow, that's a disaster. The Vipers were already there and ready. That drop not happening. He can easily refill those units. He's going for Ghosts, adding more Widow Mines. The unit composition is getting more complex and effective at dealing with the late game Zerg. Burrow is across. He knows that's a threat. He saw the first Baneling mines. More creep has to be cleared. He hasn't really been able to make any headway towards that northern base of Serral. And the bottom right is now a big risk, and he hasn't spent very much time clearing creep at all. Does he still have that Raven alive? He doesn't. An anti-armor missile can be very helpful in some of these scenarios, especially against Brood Lords, with the Marines firing so quickly. Right now, we're sitting at 460 versus 360 average actions per minute, which is a few. Turrets to zone out at the front. Partially for Burrow Banes, I think, to be honest. I mean, he's not hurting for minerals right now. But the Ghosts are building up. He's up to 9. He's waiting to, he wants the bio to trade as well as possible and then come in with his true late-game army, which is going to be the Ghosts. He's not opting for Liberators. He's still really relying on the bio. But the Ghosts are supposed to be the knockout gun. And there you go. The Brood Lords are scouted. Now the Ghosts should be coming into play soon. He's moving. Well, he hasn't moved them yet. He has them on hotkey. By the way, look at his hotkeys. Individual hotkeys for multiple orbitals and all of the other things going on, and his production. Does he have 10 barracks? Oh my god. He's using every single control group at the moment. He's both in and out of control at the same time, based on your interpretation of those terms. The Brood Lords are coming up. He's actually killing Changelings while the Brood Lords are firing. The Ghosts are ready to be unleashed. He's waiting for his moment. Drilling Claw's Widow Mines aren't so bad either. Oh, the Ghosts maybe don't want to be exactly here, because remember that snipe can be interrupted. He's actually getting Neil Steel armor. Neil Steel frame and armor have been combined, and high-sec auto-tracking simultaneously alongside that mech weapon. The Widow Mines will burrow. He didn't have detection. He knows whatever happens there is already done. Maybe able to get one snipe off. The Brood Lords are exposed. He's pulled Serral too thin. Snipes out. Cloaks. No more detection. More Overseers where that came from. Does he have EMPs? Will he throw them out? Just going to pull some Ghosts back in, but a couple Ghosts he can afford to lose. Taeja is dipping heavily on supply. Serral is coming in with a lot of units. Snipes out another Overseer. He's looking to keep the Ghosts alive. They're very expensive. They take quite a while to produce. A nuke on the way. Now getting Liberators. This army has been cleared up in the bottom right. Serral was able to hold on to that base, but the bio is gunning down the Banelings before the Brood Lords can close the distance. A dangerous game he's playing with Banelings morphing on either side. The Ghosts getting flanked. He's trying to get underneath the Broodlords, and he does. There's no detection. He got all the Overseers. It was at great cost, but he might actually be able to kill some of these Broodlords. A desperation nuclear missile is coming in. Where is the detection? Oh my God, will it hit? Oh, I'm moving my camera. Oh my God, it will. It'll kill 4 queens. Like, that's not nothing. That's more than 4 queens. That's actually a good nuke in the middle of the map. Serral not able to catch it because it's like, why would you nuke there? And now the queens are off the creep. They don't have their running shoes. Brunda will now be in the obituary. The Liberator's coming. Wings and Banes. Oh, he's got some parasitic bombs, but he splits the Liberators very quickly. Shouldn't do too much damage to him. It takes a couple parasitic bombs to actually kill him off. They don't stack. More ghosts going down. The bio, this fight getting really scrappy.
This better be good.
Mineral field depleted. Upgrade.
Taeja still maintains a huge economy, but so does Serral.
Base is under attack.
The bottom right is essentially gone, but it's going to be traded out for that top left location. There is no way Serral can engage without the majority of his forces. Oh, you got to be careful about sieging all those Liberators up like that. And parasitic bombs being a threat. Zerglings on the right side. The Vipers are scouted, consuming. He's trying to get the Banelings. He will get most of them, but so will the Ghosts go down with the Widow Mines. The base should fall. A few Zerglings have made it into the third. Is he actually going to fight this? One parasitic bomb comes out, but he's splitting. There's no other anti-air. Serral doesn't have any corruptors with this. He's building them right now, and about synthesis for the Ultras is on the way. The Liberators are actually killing air units, despite the fact they have no ship weapons. But if there's literally no anti-air, he forgot to bring the Hydras. And Taeja will take out that key late game unit, the Broodlords, for, I mean, it's not free. It's taken a while, but there's nothing left. A parasitic bomb goes out. Unfortunately for Taeja, that doesn't do friendly fire. Gonna be able to target down another Broodlord. A lot of Corruptors coming out, but all of this has allowed him to re-secure that bottom right base. He just took out, wait, did he actually take the base out? I spoke too soon, all right? That base is not very secure at all. But the Ultras are spotting. They're about to have Ultra speed, giving them more speed off of creep to, well, be more effective at keeping up with anything off of creep. Same speed on creep, just in case you were wondering. But the Corruptors coming in. They can take out the Liberators, but there are several of them. Oh, the Banelings. Oh, that was a Baneling mine! He did not expect that one. Serral setting it up and knocking the Marines away. A beautiful Baneling mine takes the wind out of his sails. Taeja was like, okay, good splits. Doing okay. Not great. Massive Widow mine hit on the backside, but Zerglings and Banelings not a huge deal. Mules are dropped. The economies are still heavy. Serral needs another wave. Taeja has just a few seconds before Serral comes in again with another round of Banes. Essentially, now you can't attack without Banes. It's far too risky. His base is coming up just in time before that Zergling can burrow underneath. Some drops going out. Taeja is up against the ropes right now against Serral, who's had a huge economy. Massive Widow Mine hit. Maybe gonna stop this. I don't know. He's gonna need a few more of those. Another one comes in. It's not enough for now. The Ultras at the back. The Liberators unsiege. He's bringing some up. The Vikings, not a huge part in dealing with this army. The drop going to the side. He needs to do some counter damage. The STV's brutalized by the Banelings, but they're holding on. He does have the Neil Steel armor. The counterattack is there. He needs to do something to Serral to stay in this game. He's going to be able to kill this base. A Raven is coming out. I'm not sure if that... Well, I think that's actually to deal with the Burrow Bane. So Twitch chat, finally, somebody made a Raven to deal with Burrow. An Ultra dies. Serral was a little distracted there, and his Ultras went, well, where they're not supposed to be. But doesn't matter. Serral still at 80 drones. Taeja doesn't know exactly the number, but he knows it's not low enough. He's consolidating his lead. Taeja's battered back down to 4 bases, which was nice at 8 minutes. Not so nice. Yeah, these are the GG scans, to be honest. Taeja's like, okay, you got this base, plenty of drones. He's gonna hold his ground one last time. But I don't know how... There's no amount of splits that are gonna save you here. No amount of amazing Widow Mine hits, even if they get maximum radius. He's gonna fight. Anti-armor missile. He's gonna try to hold. The Banelings, the splits, incredible. Moves only the Marines back. That Ultralisk is shredded. It's armor. And Taeja holds again. This is more of a moral victory than a effective one, though. The mining is a little one-sided. He has to spend a scan on killing a Zergling. The creep is encroaching. And Serral is coming in for the kill. GG! Serral takes game number 1. I think Taeja, honestly, it felt like while he was playing ridiculously fast, okay? It also, compared to Serral, felt like he was playing a little bit slow. There are a few scenarios where the medevacs were out on the map, and Zerglings or Banelings connected with them, with the units on the ground, while Taeja was somewhere else, like a few Zergling run-bys. And it's ridiculous to say, but, I mean, it's Serral, right? So, a little shaky, once again, compared to Serral in Game 1. But the game plan was really good. He maxed out by 10 minutes. Well, let's give him some credit. It was 920 with 2-2 and 4 bases. In that amount of time. Wait, did I give Taeja the score? I wasn't. Game 2's on Acid Plant. We're going to be looking on the side of the finish. Zerg. Nope. Taeja scored in my heart. Okay. So, but from that, it looks like he can hang with Serral. All right. The reason we're favoring Taeja, like, starting with Taeja, is because I haven't watched Taeja play in years. I want to take a look. Serral, I've watched a lot of, for good reason, but we're on Acid Plant. He's looking for Proxy Rex already. He knows the dangers. But we have seen Serral struggle against Proxy Rex before, even if he scouted him. So now it's not like he ever loses a series, right? But it doesn't look well. We know right now Taeja's not going for a Proxy Rex. We can see the production tab. Or at least he's not going for multiple Proxy Rex Marine. But Serral still doesn't. But I forget the interview he did. It was like, what were you thinking when you got Proxy Rex? He's like, well, I should make a pool. I believe that's an exact quote. And he... Thank you, Serral, for that insight. You heard it here first. Gas coming up. And Acid Plant is also a somewhat defensive map. Some differences. It's a little easier to attack than Lost and Found. But overall, it is a larger map with a longer rush distance and requires more commitment to actually be able to do a full-out attack. Lost and Found is notorious for those longer games, just because if you commit army to one side of the map, it's very difficult to defend the opposite. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Wait. Is this a fake out? Or is that where he went? Wait, will he get there in time? He's trying to make big moves. I guess Serral really doesn't... Not even close, baby. There's a slight delay on the attack animation. When a SCV attacks, it takes a split second to get back on the warpath. So he's actually able to... Well, if Taeja doesn't micro perfectly, that gave him literally just the space he needed. By the way, Taeja being super greedy this game. Just literally the space he needed to get the hatch down. And another thing about Serral is he never really seems to have a style. Almost every other player of every race, get this cursor off the screen. Every single player of every race, like, you can pin a style on him. And it's not like Serral is going to Bane bust every game, but he won't not. Like, he will go all in. He'll pull the queens. In fact, he's the best at it when he decides this is what he's going to do. By the way, we haven't seen any Nidus on the new patch. The Nidus network and the Nidus worm being cheaper, but the worm being killable. So more of a reinforcement option. I don't know if it's a failing of me as a professional amateur commentator, or it's just the way it is, but Serral just seems to be better at everything than pretty much everyone. So, like a Roach Warren is on the way here. It actually, well, how much gas is he? Oh, yeah, we're going all in. Serral has decided we're going all in. He's getting all this gas. He does not have a lair on the way. He's going to walk queens across the map. Is this the one we're doing? And have Ravagers and a bunch of Lings. He has a solid, like, it's not like he's not making drones. He's going to have a solid economy, but there's no lair, there's no upgrades, there's no larger amount of tech. I think he's correctly gauged that Taeja has been greedy and isn't really going heavy on the tech. So if he's stuck, like, if he can hit him before bio really comes together, before there's medevacs out, essentially, or tanks, he can kill him.
Swarm forces.
Yeah, that's a giveaway
under
right there.
attack.
He knows. That many Marines. He's going in for the kill. Ravager should be involved. There's a lot of Marines. Now, he doesn't know that Taeja was so heavy on the racks early.
Swarm forces.
He doesn't know he built a
under
third command center. Because if you're up against a quick 3cc build, well, he might know. I don't know. If I say these things because I don't know, but Serral might. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he knew everything that was happening. But a lair is on the way, so it looks like Serral has decided he has enough to deal with. He had enough roaches to deal with the 2-1-1, which is the big threat with the Marines. But then he's like, where is it? Where are the medevacs? They're not here. So he's redroning, he's trying to kind of macro it out. It looks like Taeja has actually faked out Serral by being so greedy. I'm pretty sure Serral thought this was a 2-1-1. He was lining up to just destroy it and then counterattack and kill him. But since the attack never came, and it's very difficult to attack without roach speed off of creep, Serral's just like, oh, I guess he's not attacking. Oh no, that's a lot of Zerglings go down just to a handful of Marines. Taeja just has a lot of Marines coming across the map. Serral is desperately making roaches now. I don't know if desperately is the right word, but he doesn't have +1. He doesn't have speed. So this unit composition is just not... It doesn't have great longevity. Is he going to put down a Baneling nest? Or a third? Or fourth, rather. Fourth base, okay. But Serral, he's at 63 drones, but Taeja's at 57 SCVs. That actually means Taeja has a better economy because of mules. Let's look at the income. Not quite reflected yet, but soon. He's going to see additional racks coming up, but already knows there are 3. The attack is coming across. Ravager's on the way. A Baneling nest, an infestation pit. It's a lot of Roach Ravager. Serral's just trying to box out here. And if he gets that 4th base up, or he's able to catch a chunk of Marines out on the map now, there's no reason they should be caught because medevacs exist. Roach speed is just now about to finish, and that will force Taeja to make a move. But +2 attack is already on the way, +1 armor, combat shield's about to complete. And this is the major weakness of Roach Ravager, is you don't have any anti-air. So the medevacs kind of keep you on your heels, and anytime you want to spring forward, you have to take 2 steps back.
Command unacceptable.
More hatcheries on the way. This is kind of Serral just adapting to defense mode here. Still feels a little uncomfortable. He has to, like, when you have to run back your army to deal with medevacs and sit there with Roach Ravager, I mean, it's not a fun time.
Command
But a hive is on the way. +1 attack for the Roach Ravager just finished. Creep is a significant distance across the map. Taeja hasn't done much to stop that. But the supplies are a little uncomfortable for Serral. It might be like they're even. Well, Roach Ravager, pound for pound, you want to be way ahead. Baneling speed is on the way. Medevac's just stimming forward. Baneling's coming up. The double drop on the right side. He has to hold some units here. That's just so much Terran. He's ripping through everything. It does seem Serral has misjudged the situation. Those are, well, they're about to be +2 Marine Marauder, but even before it, the sheer amount. Taeja is playing like it's 2013. He's also winning like it's 2013, where you just stim through with a ton of Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, and tanks. He's just gonna kill him. Honestly, I think my original analysis was correct. Serral wanted to crush the 2-1-1 and counterattack. That was the plan. But Taeja went 3cc, so he wasn't doing a 2-1-1. So Serral invested in these units that couldn't really pressure, and it cost him a lot. It cost him a lot of time getting upgrades. It cost him getting economy. So since that attack, he thought an attack was coming, but it never came. Taeja actually won an advantage because he was focusing so much on economy. And Serral, I don't think most Zerg players don't feel comfortable trying to attack into a 2-base Terran without lair tech, especially when you know they have that many marine. Like that's a ridiculous risk you don't want to take. So Serral just tries to macro it out and dies. Like that was a super greedy build out of Taeja, and he got away with it, and that's what it looks like. And like I was saying, Taeja, if you guys remember the summer of Taeja, which was was that 2012 or 2013? I'm not sure which one we're talking. 2013? It was when Taeja essentially, he was a proto Maru / Serral. Was the situation. Spilled a bunch of water. Beautiful. I'm all wet now because of that sick Terran play. Beautiful. Okay. But next we're gonna be watching Taeja on Blue Shift. But honestly, that was very similar. I don't think he made a single Liberate. There might have been one Liberate. But he did the same build he was doing when he was dominating people. So, well, I think what factored into that more wasn't just like Taeja doing this sick build with good execution. It was Serral kind of outplaying himself a little bit as well. We're going into game 3. We're going into... Oh, shit. Jimmy... Okay, Jimmy says I gotta run a real quick ad because I am really bad at advertising and we need to make money. So I'll be right back after this short ad. Jimmy, put the ad on. No, not the tech lab. Okay.
Dad, the other kids on chat say my voice is cracking.
Well, it just means you're growing up. Here. I think you're ready for this.
Starcraft 2?
Well, you're not a kid anymore, son. You should be playing a grown-up game.
No more excuses. StarCraft 2 is now free to play. Grow up at StarCraft2.com.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Jimmy. All right, back to Homestory Cup and Taeja versus Serral. One of the best players of 2013 versus the best player of 2018. We'll see. Taeja's showing that he can hang with him. I gotta keep talking about how Serral definitely misread that. Which means he's human. Okay. He's human. You don't want to be making a bunch of roaches and then they just sit there. That's the summary. So, but we'll see. What if Serral reads it correctly this time? Like on Lost and Found, I feel like Serral had a very good beat on what Taeja was doing. Taeja was still able to get some punches in, but it never really felt like Serral was at risk of losing the game. It just felt like Taeja was well, he wasn't losing, but he wasn't winning. That's the easiest way to put it. Cryptically. But we are on Blue Shift, which is a bit more of an aggressive map because there's no ramp leading up to the natural base. And of course, we're going back and forth on the first-person cameras. These are the players playing. And now, unfortunately, because of the way replays work, spoilers, this is a replay. Thank you to Take TV for putting on Homestory Cup, of course, and also sending out that replay pack in such a timely manner. But unfortunately, we can't see the exact mouse movements, but you can see the mouse selections, the camera movements. So you might be like, why are the camera movements so smooth? That's also another part of the replay. They get a little smoothed out just because of the way replays work. I'm not going to get into technical details because I'll just be making shit up. Alright, the first Reaper coming up. Now, this is as a lower level player, like higher masters, lower GM, that's when you still have players struggling to get their build perfect. And the definition, the way you can already start judging a player, there's so much that goes into judging the Reaper micro. The entire purpose of the Reaper is to be as annoying as possible. The Reaper tax, and the dance between how much you micro your Reaper, how much you're able to get done, and the Zerglings and all that. You can kind of get a gauge of a player and how much they're committed and how, well, experienced they are when it comes to the Reaper micro. Like, some players will just sit there with their Reaper and be like, well, I have a Reaper, so you can't move out with lanes. Some players will go deep and throw grenades and do some undercover behind-the-scenes James Bond Reaper BS. It looks like Taeja is one of those guys. But of course he is. Yeah. You feel it, drones. And to that, the drones say, yep, yep, yep. It was worth it. Okay, I have no regrets. Besides, you think no regrets saying he'll eat a shoe if Rogue doesn't get out of his group? Just bringing that up again. We'll just keep bringing that up. I feel like no regret should eat a shoe while Roddy is taking his shirt off, and then everything will be right in the world again.
Ready to raise some hell.
More Hellions coming out.
SCV ready.
It is going to be a Cloak Banshee Hellion. This is it's seen a little resurgence. I don't know if it's just because players are kind of going back to default builds. Where's my battlecruiser, Taeja? I want my battlecruiser. Anyway, oh, the Zergling's actually able to counterattack, but Taeja smartly held his Hellions on the ramp out of vision of Serral. So Serral wasn't 100% sure there were going to be Hellions there. Good time to try a counterattack, but Taeja way ahead of him. The Banshee coming out. It looks like the Marine maybe... Is this a fake out? No. He's going to build a barracks on it. And he actually shows he may. Ooh, finds the Zerglings. Taeja doesn't know it, but there are roaches coming across the map right now. That is not a defensive amount of roaches that Serral has built. Once again, he's committing to a roach attack. The Banshee is not in position to defend. He's building another one. A third CC is thankfully for him in the main. He gets vision of the Zerglings. The roaches are coming across. Taeja sent the Reaper out and actually reacted still in time to have a little bit of warning to maybe hold this. There's a lot of roaches coming. Taeja doesn't know the amount, but he knows it's a dangerous one. Another Banshee's coming up. 13 roaches on the field. That one Reaper saving the day. The fact he kept it alive, so important. The Hellions make it back home. The second Banshee as well. That one Reaper may have saved this game for Taeja, but the bunkers are coming up. Damage will be done. The boys must be pulled. Corrosive Biles come out. Actually, one connects on the Hellions, and every shot matters because Zerglings continue to stream forward. The Banshee's going to work, targeting the roaches for the most part. Unfortunately, he moved off of his reactor, so he's not able to build any Hellions. Well, he's not able to build Hellions very quickly. He's building a tank. SCVs for repair. He's starting a third orbital command. He knows when the storm finally ends, he must rebuild. But when does it end, and how much damage will be done? The big thing in this scenario, you see he's already getting the double NG bay. Upgrades and economy. Minimize damage, get the SCVs back, get production together. He's focusing on those priorities, and those are the things that might be able to put him back in this game. Taeja is 61 drones to 25 SCVs.
SCV ready.
But he has 3 orbitals. And a 3 orbital Terran is never dead. Never. 0 SCVs. We're still in a game. 1-1 starts for Taeja. Serral doesn't have any upgrades on the way, because of course there's a huge investment in that attack. The Cloak Banshees will hopefully get some damage done. The Spore Crawler not quite done yet. Taeja gonna find a couple drones, and he needs to find a couple drones. More than a couple, ideally.
SCV ready.
And if that Reaper hadn't seen the roaches, the game's over, I think, right now. Or it's essentially just desperation. Like, maybe he holds the wall, but he's down to nothing. Reaper, the real MVP. And still the Banshee micro. Now notice the selection box. Okay, now he's just looking. But he's not just staring at the Banshees. Look at what is getting done. And look, by the way, once again, always his control groups, but he's not missing a beat. He's got everything ready for production back home. The only thing he needs to do is come home, build some depots. while microing his Banshees, and now we're sending out the double drop, and suddenly the supplies are looking a lot closer.
SCV ready.
Well, the Overseer is there. He's going to clear out Overlords. At this level, you don't just leave Overlords on the map. There's no point. He already saw your drop. Might as well kill it.
SCV ready.
Taeja's moving deep onto the creep. He knows that there wasn't, like, there's not mutas coming out right now. His only anti-air is going to be Queens and, well, Spores. And speaking of Queens, he's assassinating 3. Going to go for 4. Not going to find it. Not great targeting out of Serral either. Wow, one of the Banshees survived with next to no HP. Feel like that's a little risky. He's going to put some more damage on this. Pick up again. Taeja, on Lost and Found, he looked a little shaky. And by a little shaky, I mean he loses 3-4 Marines. Doesn't quite get perfect target firing.
Upgrade complete.
Does he look like he's
Mineral
shaking
field
now?
depleted.
He has been firing on all cylinders besides this supply block happening right now. Okay. Not losing any of the Marines. The Banshee micro on point. Does he have an armory done? Armory is done. He can start the 2-2. That should be happening in just a moment. He just finished up the 1-1 a moment ago. Continuing to stim forward. Taeja's at 386, 87 actions per minute. A few more this moment. Serral at 420. And that's why the game is not nearly over when you're down 30 SCVs. Because the effectiveness, when a Zerg commits that much to those early tech units, they don't, it's hard to recover without taking some damage, and Taeja is dealing out the damage. He's out for another attack. He's got 1-1 done. Serral has finished it up as well. Taeja should know that by now. He's been looking at the Lings and Banes. Continuing production. 2-2 has started as well. A very important part of this. 72 drones to 58 SCVs, but if he doesn't have a 4th, Serral's going to be in a rough spot. He is on the creep. Lings and Banes trying to come around. Hydralisks do not have groove spines or muscular augments. These are some... Oh! Looking away for a split second. That's not what you want to have, but he's target firing the Banelings. The Tag's doing an incredible job. The Marines, not a beautiful split there at the end. He was a little bit out of position, and Serral strikes back. Taeja slips a bit. He was looking the other way. The Banelings closed the distance, and the Marines stood their ground, but maybe it was ground they shouldn't be standing on. So crushes that attack, but he lost his 4th. Now, he may have the base to the north. Taeja doesn't know. He has an idea. He's been sending out scouts. I think he's sending one out right now. I believe that's a Marine on the minimap there. Is he already transitioning? Oh, he's building Marauders. The Marauders, well, to have some options in the later game, as well as tank Baneling hits. Banelings are a real and present danger at the moment. There's a tank at the back. Of course he has it. A full wall. Tanks tucked in there. Depots to slow things down. He's setting himself up to defend against the swarm. But he can't sit back. You can't just sit back. You're going to get overwhelmed. Like, if he sits back, sure, Serral might not be able to attack him, but there's going to be hive tech. There could even be things like infestors, bane mines, eventually broodlords and ultras and vipers. Serral actually is really, he's a big fan of his vipers. So. But the Marauders are in production. Taeja is up to 8 racks now. Scans the top base. He realizes the fact that that top base is not done is big for Taeja. That means Serral was a key base to take out. He is all right economically. He can commit to an attack. Probably will split off a drop or two to the north to just pull Serral's forces apart. 2-2 is done. So we have a timing here. He's starting the +3. Already pre-sieging his tanks. Watch, Terran players. Pre-sieging those tanks. Just in case Serral was right there in the darkness. Going to take that base to the bottom right. Not going to try to work up to the north as he's attacking. The attack now defends his new base because he's working through this angle. So a smart, like, on-your-feet play there, I guess, is how they say it in sports. Of course, I assume both these players are sitting down, but metaphorically. And that's a lot of bile. 2-2 is done, but 2-2 is about to finish for Serral. I'm not sure what that is up to the north. It is a single cloak Banshee, but Serral's on top of it, already an Overseer there. The tanks will siege up, though. That was a lot of forces he committed to the north. Serral was expecting a more concerted attack, so his forces weren't quite here. But now Taeja, okay. Oh, but Serral's not going to let him retreat for free. The Banelings crashing through, but they're hitting Marauders. The concussive shells helping out. The tanks targeting down. Taeja holds the line, and he drives it back. The Banelings got so close, but a handful of Marauders and some great tank shells came in and saved the day. Serral driven back onto his creep.
SCV ready.
More Vipers on the way. +3 attack. Taeja didn't quite have the resources for +3 armor. Oh, a nice big hit as well for the tanks. Has he been upgrading tanks this game? Mech weapons level 1. Gives him a lot more effectiveness against those Lings and Mains. And now a drop up to the top. The counterattack coming in. The depot is raised in time. Reinforcements coming back, but that's a significant counterattack. Well upgraded Zerglings. He's still holding the position near the top. Serral does have an Overlord there. Taeja will see it in a moment. He's going to drop on top. That will drag some units over to the back. Taeja established his 4th base. +3 is closing in on finishing. Both players nearing a max, but neither has really been hit heavily economically since the very beginning of the game when Serral eviscerated Taeja's SCVs, but at the cost of his own tech. And now we're here, essentially even. In fact, maybe Taeja had a little bit of an advantage because Hive Tech hasn't really kicked in, and Taeja's comfortably at 4 bases and has his +3 upgrades. But that's going to change soon, as Serral is opting for his. He's got Adrenal Glands on the way in Ultralisk Cavern. He spots the army moving to the top. That's a lot of army supply. That's going to be a little out of position. Oh, so greedy! But he gets both medevacs out of there. This means a lot of army supply is committed to the top. A lot of Banelings as well. He can move along the southern lane. The drop to the top is about to be hit. It looks like it will be crushed, but enough units there that he can maybe work his way forward. The creep is pushed all the way back to the hatchery. The Marauders coming in first. They do a great job against hatcheries and against Banelings. The tank's not quite in range, but the bio is pre-splitting. He's not opting for ghosts. He's not opting for the late game because he sees Serral is just still on this mid-game tech. There are the Vipers. Do we see the Ghost Academy in a moment? He wants to deal with the counterattack. He's actually, well, a lot of units are being cut off as they're reinforcing, as Taeja tries to manage the other side as well. Banelings, tanks, Marines, all of these are on the edge if they go the wrong way. If the Banelings go into the tanks, all clumped up, Taeja will easily take them out. But at the same time, if the Marines are out of position, you know what happens. Here comes Serral from both angles. Not a perfect situation. A Blinding Cloud hits a couple of the tanks. The Marines stim back. There's a deeper tank line. Another Blinding Cloud. The Marines stand their ground. Where are the Banes? They're gone. The tanks will survive. Taeja takes the fight, wins the fight. Serral is forced to retreat. The base is gone. Serral! Continuing to work forward. He knows exactly when to stand and fight and exactly when to fall back. The control on the Marines. I know it almost sounds like a meme, but the control on the Marines is ridiculous. The reinforcements coming in. He's got a lot of forces kind of committed out on the map, though. He could get bitten off. This is a little greedy out of Taeja. If he can join up, we know Ultralisks are coming out. I don't know if there are any Ultralisks on the field, but Taeja knows they're a threat. He knows Hive Tech is coming up. Another base on the way. He's going to lift his main. The Hive is under fire. He can't let that go. The drop coming. Oh, boy. A dangerous game he's playing. Those medevacs. Just a light breeze might be enough. A Viper. A lot of reinforcements come in, but Taeja going to close on this army. He's going to force it into retreat. The Marauders holding their ground. Even while he knows the army will eventually kill him, if he stands his ground, he still turns and fights just enough. Serral, reluctant with so little economy to actually commit to anything that's going to cause him to lose a wave of Banelings, unless he's going to crush a fight. He knows Taeja has those reinforcements at the back. He's now deep onto the creep. This is a risky business maneuver here. You don't want to be on the creep with the Banelings, but the Marauders forming a wall with their bodies. And once again, the Baneling's not going to find an opportunity to close the distance on the big clump of Marines. With concussive shells helping out a little bit as well. He's building depots. I mean, he needs to be on supply bot, but he's also building depots to screw up the AI of things like counterattacking Zerglings and Hydras. If Serral just A-moves them while microing on the other side, they're just going to hit depots, which are a lot better to get rid of than Marines. base in the center being taken. Taeja's going to a 5th and a 6th. If he holds on to one of these bases, he's still got a healthy economy. Neither player maxed out and neither player with money in the bank. It's about as close as it gets. We're still 17 minutes in. There's no clear leader. The Ultralists are spotted. But, oh, and Serral, he has the base to the top left. Taeja does need to try to deal with that. At the same time, he's counterattacking with an army to the bottom right. A Blinding Cloud, no one abduct comes in, but the Banelings are going to eat it. He's holding his ground. The other force trying to move in. Serral wrapping around. He doesn't have the creep to work with. Taeja trying to micro on both sides, so is Serral. That's a lot. Going off a creep is going to be very cost and effective for Serral if Taeja keeps up these splits. Some more Banelings coming through. Does he get the target? He does for now. Getting more and more, and he just brings them all the way back. He's stutter stepping. The base in the top left still being taken out as well as he's microing here. He lifts the command center. He will get out of that location and take Serral's base with him as he clears the creep. Taeja continuing forward.
Mineral field depleted.
Serral on the ropes right now. He's down in supply. He's not maxed out. Well, that was obvious. Taeja continues taking out bases, but this time it really didn't cost him much on his end. He's going to get through the rocks so he can move between these bases. He's getting a little spread out, so it's dangerous. Why don't you repair your medevacs, Taeja, you noob? Both these players playing pretty quickly and just getting a lot done. Infester's on the way. Serral, I don't know if that's desperation or if that's his Hail Mary. Those are both kind of the same thing. But I have the best words. That's a lot of Ultras and Banelings, and Taeja says, no matter, I will go forward. You look at 7 Ultras and 20 Banelings and say, I can take that. What Terran does that? Taeja does. Some Liberators going up towards the north. There's only Lings and Banes there. These are the only Liberators he's made this game. He's using them for harass. Here come the Banelings. He's holding his ground for now. The tanks, the splits back, the Blinding Clouds, but the Zerg might be too much. Another Blinding Cloud from the back. He has to pick up. He has to get out. Taeja bit off a little bit more than he could chew, but he is punching back just a little bit with the Liberators as well. Zerglings find an opportunity. There's no reinforcements there. The Planetary is under attack. He's not going to be able to hold on to it. Serral not going down without a fight. The medevacs are forced backwards. Taeja dipping in supply. He has money in the bank. He's kind of slipped on production just a little bit throughout that whole fight. The medevacs, still a lot of them intact. He's got 7 medevacs on the field. 1 infester could change that very quickly. The base was lifted, but he was able to re-land it, or maybe it was just driven out. I'm not 100% sure. Ghost Academy is on the way. Taeja's starting to realize, well, if he can't put pressure on Serral soon, then he's going to have to go to that slower-paced, methodical late game as opposed to this slugfest that they continue to have. The creep battle continues. Taeja's winning it for the most part, but oh, beautiful Fungal! The Ultras with speed closing the distance. Parasitic Bomb blowing up medevacs. Beautiful split on the Parasitic Bomb medevac, and he actually takes an Ultra, somehow making the best out of what was a horrible situation, and he holds the ground. And he's going to take the base in the bottom right. Is that actually going to be enough? Yes, the Marines have the DPS. They gun it down. Serral is down 2 bases. The base in the top left, I don't believe it's been rebuilt, but Taeja's about to check. It has not. More sensor towers. Anything you can use. That happened. That Liberator. Ghost Cloaking is on the way. He's not building any ghosts, though. Does he have any on the field? No. Serral's still struggling to find an opportunity. Taeja's still mining heavily. The armies are so dangerous. One particularly bad fight and the game just ends. Either way. Just working his way forward. He knows that base is being rebuilt. Taeja continuing to apply pressure. He's finally found an opening to build the ghosts as well. The ghosts can actually kill and will potentially end this game once and for all. The concussive shell is so useful. A lot of army supply committed to the top left. Taeja's pulling back to retreat. Does he split off anything to counterattack simultaneously?
Vespine Geyser exhausted.
The outside, the outer bases, the 5th and 6th bases now, well, really 4th and 5th bases are starting to mine out for Taeja. There's not that many bases on this map. If it gets down to it, we have the bases in the center, which are super vulnerable. A few Marines Marauders stemming forward. The base will finish. I think there were some burrowed Lings and Banes there, but Taeja not taking the risk. You hear a lot of ghosts reporting for duty, and that is the finishing card, potentially for the finisher. But a few blinding clouds, a couple fungals, and a lot of mainlings. You see big globs of Zerg. I think there's no better way to describe them. If Taeja is not on point on both sides of the map simultaneously, he can easily get run over. These armies are so dangerous out of Serral. I mean, it goes both ways. Welcome to StarCraft. Is there a fungal? He scans ahead. He sees an infestor. The ghosts realize, okay, there might be an opportunity for snipes here. Oh, is the fungal there? No. He gets the infestor! The ultras! 1, 2, 3! Huge triple kill there. And he realized there was no detection. Serral didn't react in time. The cloak coming in, and now Taeja can focus his efforts towards the southern side. Another set of scans comes forward. The ghosts will move their way over towards the front. At this point, it looks like Taeja really just going to focus this angle. The ghost coming in from the back. Where are the banelings? He's not even looking at the bottom, so he's making sure to get the snipes off. Are there any EMPs? He doesn't land any. The blinding cloud's at the back. He's able to snipe off a few Vipers. He retreats. The ghosts somehow maintain it at the back line. The banelings are gone, but so is a lot of the Marines. The orbital under fire. He might be able to get some return fire. Dodges one fungal. Looks for more snipes. That fungal is big. That's a lot of ghosts. He needs to pick them up and get out. He's retreating to his reinforcements. Taeja still producing. A lot of the banelings doing well. Remember, when banelings attack, they die. The infestor is sniped out. It's pretty much just ghosts and a handful of bio. Both sides suffering heavy losses. Taeja is forced off the base. He's been more cost-effective this match, which pays off in the long run, but not if he can't keep up his production and eventually counter what Serral has on the table. There's still 50 SCVs against 63 drones. Serral has retaken the top left. He may have retaken the bottom right. Taeja isn't sure yet. A lot of medevacs on the field. Finds a nice little clutch of Zerglings. The base definitely retaken. Is there anything there? Serral spread very thin. Taeja as well. The creep continuing incessantly throughout this game. Serral about to break 500 average APM. Taeja a little bit closer to 400, but of course, building Zerglings, just based on their nature, inflates it a little bit. Let's look at the effective actions per minute. 228 to 303, which means these players are doing 6 to 7 different actions that do different things per second. Wait, is my math really bad? 4 to 5? I don't... A lot! Very fast players!
Base is under attack.
I never do that. Very fast. Taeja is holding on to these bases. Serral can't crack them. He doesn't have brood lords. He doesn't have a huge amount of infestors. He's building turrets to zone.
Depleted.
If he can hold on to any of the middle bases, really. Serral, he just doesn't have cost-effective units. Wait, he's just now getting burrow? I thought he had burrow before. I guess I was wrong about that. His base is exposed. He might be able to just target it down. Not drones. Drones not the greatest units at fighting Marines, but the base not going to go down. He tries a hero Marine to save it. But here comes Serral. He needs to make a move soon. But Taeja not letting it go. Does he have a nuke? But stimming in. This base, the third or fourth base, whatever that is, still hasn't mined out because Taeja hit it so many times. He's going to hit it one more time. It's gone. Along with all the drones. Serral still has a huge amount of supply, though. It can evaporate very quickly. Much of it is in banelings. It's getting to the point where there's only so much left on the map. We're mining out. It's getting there. It's still 5-10 minutes till the map is mined out, but we're getting there. Does Taeja have the building armor, or the Neil Steel armor, as it's called now? He does not. Not as of yet. He's at 170. Serral is maxed out. But Taeja is holding on to several bases. The lines have been drawn in almost the literal sand here on Blue Shift. You can tell it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Neither player willing to commit a huge amount of their forces to a fight in the last couple minutes. Because they're precious. These armies won't be rebuilt again. Gets the scan off. Sees, I think he caught a glimpse of those burrowed lings, or at least had a feeling. Star senses. Oh, there's the, yeah, well, yeah, there it is. Oh, surprise! It's like a campaign mission. But he's able to hold on to most of his units. Thankfully, didn't hit the ghost, and now he goes. That was very scary. Oh, Taeja kept his cool, but like, a few medevacs went down, but the ghost will take revenge from the infestor.
Let's have a SCV ready. It's about to
Serral is maxed out here. We don't see any other big sorts attack showing up on the field or on the production tab. He has taken the northern base. Taeja's gonna push. We're running out of places to go. Oh, Taeja caught. Oh no! He lost a couple medevacs and much of the units down here. Taeja struggling, trying to get the damage done. He needs to break a little bit closer. He's unsieging tanks from the back line. He knows if he can pressure this, if he can force a fight in his favor.
Center upgrade.
Oh, got an infestor. He felt it. Also a little bit to see the creep. One infestor at the wrong time can change the game. There are so many things. But the game is on the edge of the knife. All right.
armed and ready.
Somebody's going to get cut.
Oh, it's on.
That Viper. He's going to retreat. Does Serral not going to step off creep. Just Marauder spreading forward. Here comes Serral. Oh, but the attack from the back. The Ghost in retreat. He's looking for an opportunity. Blinding Clouds are good. He's holding his ground. He's holding his ground. The Ghost at the back. The Banelings closing the distance. Cloak at the last possible second. On the high ground were the tanks. He was forced into retreat. He was forced back. He lost the tanks. The Blinding Clouds, but the Ghost put the cloak over their heads at the last second. Turn the tides. And Taeja, he's moving for the fungal at the back. But there's no units left to take advantage of it. Enough medevacs survived. Serral, he used everything. And Taeja, he had enough. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna watch that last fight from Serral's side. I think we have to. Like, we're gonna. What goes through Serral's head when this fight is happening? Flanking from all sides. He's like, well, we gotta do this now. He's got the infestor. The ghosts are right there. Get him. He's staring at him. He's staring at those ghosts. And then, oh god, that feeling. That feeling. As soon as the ghost cloak, he was like, he was in there. It's too late now. One more time. This feeling. Oh no. And the ghosts are gone. And that forced him into total retreat.
Under attack.
Now, did Serral have I wanna see one more thing. Did Serral have any overseers before that fight started? Did Taeja? Okay. There were two overseers. There's one here. And there's... Okay. Well, they weren't part of the fight. I was like, did Taeja magically snipe them all as well as doing all of that? But either way, still ridiculous game by Taeja. Barely holding. Like, that was about as close as it gets. A couple more Baneling hits at any point in that game. Remember, Taeja was down 35 SCVs to start. Which is a few. And it's 2-1. It's best of 5. So we're not done. We're not done. But, real quick, Jimmy says it's ad time. So I'll be right back in just one moment. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope you've enjoyed the first person breakdown of Homestory Cup 18. Serral versus Taeja. Be right back. Just 1 second. You guys pause, ad block, all of that. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here again. Now, I know we haven't been talking much about it lately, but I'm here to talk to you about combat shields. Terrans, from Bronze to Grandmaster, need to stop forgetting... Taeja didn't do it last game, but in general, you need to stop forgetting combat shield. Stop it. Stop complaining that Storm and Banelings are imba when your Marines could have like 20% more HP. So, I don't want to hear it, you whiny-ass Diamond Terrans. I don't want to hear it anymore. Get combat shield. It's like, well, I did get combat shield. It's like, well, then stop stimming your units 3 times before you get into a fight. Can we do that? Can we do... But I ran up a ramp in the storm. Why can't I just use Marines and Marauders the whole... Stop it! Go play Protoss for 2 days. Okay. Stop it. No more. And if you're like, I don't even want to play this game anymore, well, then you can watch. And if you like watching, make sure to smash that like button, because that's the only interaction you're going to have if you're not actually playing. Or subscribe, whether with Twitch Prime or on the YouTubes. But apparently also on the YouTubes, you also got to ring the bell. Nope, well, close enough. Because I still don't know exactly what that does. But everybody says it, so I'm saying it. Get it done. Make it happen. Thank you. This has been a public service announcement. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know ads are annoying, but we're going into Game 4. We're going to be watching Serral this time around. Come back. All right. And the music. Thank you. And score? What's the score? Taeja's winning. Wait, right? Yeah. Taeja 2-1. That last game. I don't even remember what's happening anymore. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to collect myself. Serral going for... That's not an extract. He's just going pool first. I think he's been 2 raxed a few too many times. I need to take a little break. Just chill for a sec. The calm before the storm. And I don't think this is going to be aggressive. This is mostly just very safe. You can maybe build like 8-10 Zerglings and try to cancel a command center. But that's kind of a... That's a gamble. There's a difference between a calculated risk and a gamble. A calculated risk is like, well, I saw you were going for a factory and no second gas, so I think you're going for a 3rd CC, so I'm going to roach bust you. A gamble is, I hope you send out your first Reaper, because if you do, I win the game. Like, But if you win the game, I mean, your work here is done, so... Or at least be way ahead. The SCV scout coming out. Taeja's been pretty diligent about it. He's going to see the Lings. There's going to be a total of 4. Looks like with the SCV scout, he's going to hold off more production. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be like, you won't expect me to make more Lings now that the Lings have been scouted. Mind games. 420 IQ. No, that's not what he's doing. Oh! The Reaper from the bushes! I think I've seen this in Overwatch League. Just kidding, I didn't watch Overwatch League. The Queen's coming out. Did he actually get the drone to the 3rd? There's a Marine coming up. The link should be in place. The Overlord will get to the little pervert pillar, the high ground. A bit different on this map than on most. Dreamcatcher is, especially like tanks over the top, quite annoying. Oh, we got the first creep tumor. So a lot has happened now. The first creep tumor was killed, which makes it. I mean, the first it's patient 0 essentially. It's gonna delay the 3rd. It's gonna make it harder to spread that. Well, deal with things like Hellions. It really hurts a Zerg, but at the same time, the Zerglings are gonna get some counterattack damage. overall, it is quite painful to lose that first creep tumor as a Zerg. And every time it happens, you're like, I knew this was going to happen. Taeja actually screwing up that Reaper micro a little bit, accidentally going back up to the high ground instead of maybe escaping. I'm not sure it would have made it, but definitely not if you go back in for more. That's just a little extractor trick there to get a queen out slightly quicker. Little cute move. Sees the Cloak Banshee. Well, potentially Cloak Banshee. He doesn't know. Well, he knows something's upgrading. He doesn't know 100% that it's a Banshee. But Cloak Banshees have kind of had a resurgence in popularity. So. I mean, this might be the game to go Mutas. I'm feeling Mutas out of Serral. Once again, I did not watch these games live. I have an idea of how the tournament went, of course, but I don't know nearly the specifics. And actually, people said Taeja versus Serral was worth the watch, and they were very, 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 very right. Baneling Nest early. He's not adding on any more guys, so I want Mutas though. Maybe it's just I want Mutas, but I don't know if we're getting Mutas. Is this just a Baneling speed rush? No. Mutas. Spire. I know you can't hear me, and this is in the past, but life is a rerun. He's getting the Overseer so he can deal with the Cloak Banshees. No Baneling speed yet, because he doesn't have a Baneling Nest done. Pro tip.
Queen birth successful.
He's got 200 gas. I want Mutas. He's not committing. I mean, he'll probably just get Baneling speed, right? That doesn't mean not Mutas, though. Looks like he's scared. I know. I keep talking about it. That's what they were trying to do with the patch, right? Like, in the patch notes, it's like, we're trying to bring back classic unit compositions, like Mutaling Baneling. Which pretty much didn't happen because Hydras were so much better, and Thors were ridiculously good. They've been nerfed a bit against Mutas with less splash damage against air, and, well, less splash radius, not damage, and also less armor, so Mutas do more damage. But still, we haven't really seen... Serral's played around with it a little bit, but it looks like another game we're going to see the Hydra in. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen it yet. It's been kind of... It's a very passive game, a lot of poking and prodding. So, okay, not passive, but... I guess careful. Careful. Neither player wanting to commit or show too much of their hand too early either. And I'm gonna spend this time addressing a handful of YouTube commenters who probably have like 14 different accounts and are just trying to get a reaction out of me. So congratulations. But we got a little bit of time before anything's set up to attack. Winter, we all do you just do these first-person games so you don't have to control the camera and observe because you're lazy? No. But that is like 20 to 30% of it. I really like that. There is a lot to learn, but it is nice. I do like that a lot. You know, that allows me to think instead of trying to control the camera poorly. I'm sorry for all you who struggle through my observing. I try, but it's not as bad as it was. By the way, Spire! Now, how much effect will it have? Does he have an infestation pit? No, he's not like rushing reloads or anything. So it will be Mutas. Almost certainly. He's already got the Bane speed. The one thing he did kind of neglect were upgrades. So right now, Taeja's coming in. I mean, Serral has Bane speed and a lot of creep. So, these Marines are not going to do damage. Not without a bunch of tanks behind them in a great position, so.
Exhausted.
I think a couple Zerglings died to the rocks. Almost threw the Banelings into it. A classic mistake.
Creep tumor under attack.
They are being taken down. The Spire is done. Serral has banked up 900 gas, ready for Mutas. Is he going to make them? How much larva? He has larva. Are you going to make Mutas or not, Serral? Okay. What a noob.
Creep tumor.
By the way, did you guys catch that inject? Just watch out for the next one. The way he injects, he already has he has the queens, and I believe he uses both camera location and base camera injects. One's for speed, the other for precision. But it's pretty fast.
Creep tumor under attack.
The meters are out. He can now chase down those medevacs potentially. He's got to get these rocks down first. Widowmines have joined the field. Serral. Oh, is he gonna... The best scenario. Oh, no, 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 no! The cliff. He lost a lot of Banes there. A few creep tumors. But the best scenario for mutas is when you can use them on offense. Like, he's hidden them the whole time, and Taeja has no turrets. He was not expecting it. Honestly, he was probably expecting, like, when are the Hydras showing up? But guess what? They're not. The mutas are here. They really didn't get that much done. How many SCVs? 6 SCVs, but they're going to need to do more than that to justify the cost and the delay on the hive tech. Banshee's coming in. The mutas are coming back around. Big counterattack for Serral. They're just moving their way through. Oh, big Widowmon hit in the middle there. I don't know if Serral caught that. Just Hellbats exposed. It's really, like, both sides are trying to maneuver their units around in a way that counters the other units on the go. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, we saw it on the minimap. And that is why mutas are not very popular. 2 seconds. He flew over the army and, well, doesn't go well. He's still going to find an opportunity to do damage, but losing half his mutas isn't great. The Banelings are crashing in. The Hellbats evaporate. He's actually killing a lot of SCVs. Imagine if he had 5 more mutas. Oh, there's no turrets in the main. Come on, get your TBM up, Taeja. Those turrets per minute. The Banelings combined with the actual counter damage that Serral has done. Taeja doesn't have a huge economy, and he doesn't have an army that can really pressure. So Serral has kind of beaten things back. He's taken some losses, but he's about to have the gold base online. The infestation pit has started. The upgrades are going to even up soon. You got to be really careful about the pathing on this map. Gets in through the rocks. A very dangerous counterattack. Gets to the 4th base before a planetary. The Baneling's looking to crash in. Not going to find it. He's going to lose too many before they close the distance. Not going to get the planetary either, but at least he's got a timing on it. What is this? A drilling claws, I believe? Yeah, drilling claws Widowmine drop. It looks like that was. Only kills 4 drones, so minimal losses. Hive has started. 2-2 done. Yeehaw! Meanwhile, Serral, his hive on the way. Taeja has started his 3-3. A drop to the top. He doesn't have any Banelings, so he's not going to be able to close the distance. Oh, I take it all back. Serral proves me wrong. Though, oh, he could kill that army, but is Taeja paying attention? Of course he is. The muta's going up to deal with the drop. He doesn't have enough to really fight the army. Where are the Widowmines? Serral was looking very intently on him, but there were no Widowmines to back that up. The mutas will clear out the drop to the gold base. The longer he holds on to that gold base, he doesn't have much creep. The creep has made it further out. But at the gold, it can still be pushed. But it's on the full opposite side of the map of much of his other production, so Taeja's going to be stretched very thin to pressure it. Oh, no! Oh, don't mind me. More mines hit the mutas. Every time a Widowmine hits a muta, a puppy dies. So stop making mines, Terran. Lings and Banes will box out of the gold. The drones were already pulled. Serral has doubled down on the mutas. He's got 12 now. He's lost a half dozen at least. Adrenal Glands is on the way. Serral looking for the counterattack. He's given up on the gold because he's already re-expanding to the bottom left. That is a Drilling Claws drop, but 2 are gonna hit! Wait, this one? No, he killed the other one. Drives him back. The gold base, it looks like Taeja actually retreated. He was panicking a little bit here. The Banelings, is that really the play? Oh, he correctly assessed that the attention of Taeja would be in the wrong place. He's like, well, you're going to worry about the other side. You think I'm retreating. So I'll send in all these Banes. He killed a bunch of mines with that. And now he's going to go in for another round. Taeja coming in with reinforcements, but the mines have been cleared out. The muta's doing a lot of damage here. Changelings in the mix. Taeja gonna gun most of them down. Looks like he got all of them. That one Marauder very heroically taking out the hatchery all by itself. The defenseless, innocent bystander hatchery.
Under attack.
Pings. That means he accidentally clicked the Alt key.
Field exhausted.
Unless that was one of the observers in the game. I'm not sure. Neo Steel Armor is on the way for Taeja. Despite everything, Serral hasn't really been able to get the Hive Tech. He's been struggling to get quickly to Hive Tech in much of these games. The Baneling's on the way.
Swarm forces under attack.
Another counterattack. The Mutas to the south, just a single mine. He sees there's probably not any more. The main attack is to the center. The counterattack, he's holding it on the right side. The Widow Mines, are they in place in time? No. Is that enough Banelings to kill this? Neo Steel Armor is not done. Kind of a weird exchange. The Planetary will pick up a lot of kills. Something happened on the left side. I'm not sure how many units were lost for Serral. Not too many. A scan comes out. Taeja confirms his suspicions that this base is taken, and that's probably why Serral gave up the gold base earlier. Taeja is stretching Serral to his limit. A few queens in the middle of the map will be supported by the Zerglings. The mine is still very dangerous. A couple big mine hits, and then, well, it's lights out. If they hit the Mutas and the Banes, it's all over. Those are 3-3 Marines, right? Of course they are. But he's on the creep. The Banelings are closing the distance. A Thor is here. Well, slightly nerfed against the Mutas. They're not bad at all. The counterattack comes into the third. Taeja doesn't have max supply. He doesn't have that many units on the other side of the map. He's committing everything here at the front. The Marines must stem the retreat. He's continuing to work his way forward. Another round of Baneling. They just keep coming. But the beautiful splits out of Taeja once again. There's just not enough Marines to keep splitting. Another round. Serral comes in for round 3. And this is the knockout blow. Everything back at home is gone for Taeja. The Link counterattack cleared the third. The fourth was gone. And Serral, wave after wave, eventually rolls over Taeja. He was able to hold on to that lead. This time, Taeja not able to successfully pressure 4th and 5th bases like he was in the previous match. Well, not able to successfully pressure and keep a 4th base of his own. That's the key. Because you can trade units as Terran if you have 4 bases. You can go back and forth. But if you're on 3, then you don't want to be you want to be winning, not trading. And he wasn't winning. So Serral showing his strength. The Mutas. Were the Mutas the right call? I mean, they did a lot, but they have to do a lot is another problem. So, we're going into Game 5, the decider. Who moves on? Who could it be? But we're going to be watching from Taeja's perspective for the final match. Both sides. Now, don't feel scared, guys. Taeja's only in the Diamond League, so you guys can probably pull this off as well. But anyways, Game 5 of this playoffs match. Oh, we got to update the score.
SCV ready.
And there we go. Thank you, Jimmy.
SCV ready.
Game 5, actually. The decider. Coming up. Taeja is... Well, not on the ropes. Well, I was about to say on the... They're both on the ropes. Okay, they're just staring at each other from across the ropes. I don't... Who even watches boxing? At least I know on the ropes means boxing. So, sports. Can I get a sports? Yeah, sports. Digital sport. But Taeja holding his own. So, the conversation at the start was, can Taeja compete? Like, he comes back after a couple years. Can he continue to play at that level that he was playing at years ago? Like, before military service, he had a lot of issues with carpal tunnel and wrist injuries. But he was dominant at the time. So, I think no matter how this game goes, the answer is yes. Like, if it was anyone but Serral, what would this look like? Imagine any other Zerg against how Taeja's playing right now. It doesn't matter who. Rogue, Rainer, Laser, Dark. They're not Serral.
Command center upgrade complete.
But here we go. Game 5.
The Grim Reaper has arrived. SCV ready.
And I like this. This is a much safer move than the no SCV. A lot of players would go with the no SCV. but Taeja SCV scouts, and he sends it out quick enough to see if it's pull first, and also potentially block a third base. As soon as the SCV is shown not to be able to block a third, just Serral's being pretty clever with the drones, then he goes home, but you don't want to be losing games just because you didn't see 4 Zerglings slipping by and delaying or canceling your command center. That's, that always really, really sucks. So, but these have been some incredible games on every single game. Very rarely does every game of a series, and we haven't finished the series yet. This could just be over in 6 minutes because Taeja mismicros and runs into a Baneling, or Serral loses 30 drones to Hellions. But every single game has pretty much. I don't know how players could have played better. Like the game on Acid Plant that Serral lost was not necessarily because he played poorly. It's just Taeja kind of out-mind gamed him. He got the better end of the builds because Serral was preparing for a kind of a more aggressive pressure, but Taeja, instead of doing that pressure, was taking a third CC. So despite the fact, even though Serral was setting up for that attack, he ended up still being able to hold his own, but Taeja took that advantage. He played very macro heavy. Same thing on Blue Shift, where Taeja took a ton of damage to the Roach push. But he had 3 CCs, and he was comfortable macroing it out. And that went, what, 30 minutes? I don't know. Wow, 30 minutes. Holy shit. That last game was like 15. So, this is not a one-and-done type of series. And I'm really hoping this game isn't either. Or is. Whatever gets me the best is StarCraft. That's all I want in my life. And when it comes to spoilers and stuff like that, I understand why people wouldn't want to be like, who wins this series, all that. But honestly, I don't really care if I know who wins, but I want to know how the games will play. I understand people have different priorities and stuff like that, but I don't care, like, oh. Well, if it's like, oh, it looks like Game Time beats Serral, it's like, I need to watch those games, but what the... But most of the time, I want to know what were the best games rather than who won. So. And thankfully, on this new patch so far, there's been a lot of great games. And a lot of not-so-great games. The mirror matchups seem to be confusing right now, as it usually happens after a patch. But he will finish Cloak in a moment. Taeja almost making a big mistake and losing the Banshee before Cloak.
Add-on complete.
Was he really? Yeah. So that is a little line of sight blocker there. If there wasn't an Overlord, he might have been able to slip by the Queens, which probably not, but once again, we're full powered. This time, Serral's going to have a slight upgrade advantage, but Taeja's close behind. He's got a third CC. Serral has gone up to 50+ drones. Taeja, close behind. He's going to have a third CC. I already said that, but anyways.
Add-on complete.
It's a full macro game. Here we go again.
Add-on complete.
One more round. Buckle down, dig deep. Even for these world-class players, it's got to be tiring, right? Like, there has been some series, some best of 5s are done in 30 minutes of game time. Ask, like, Maru versus Zest. Who was it? Was it Zest he beat up really hard? Multiple times? I don't know. Maru 4-0'd one proton. I'm pretty sure it was Zest. Multiple times in best of 7s. In, like, he speed ran the GSL finals. I think he won in 24 minutes of game time. He won 4 games in 24 minutes against Zest.
Research complete.
And that was shorter than the Blue Shift game of this series. So, also I think that's part of the reason people love StarCraft and why it's such a dynamic and entertaining esport. In almost every other esport, you have an idea of how long a match is going to take. Like, there's literally a time limit in certain ways or other ways. But in StarCraft, a match can take 3 minutes or over an hour. Like, you don't, like, it could be, the entire series could be over in 20 minutes. Or one game could be double that. Like, you just don't know. Oh my god! A massive Widow Mine hit. That one hurts. Oh, another one. Taeja off to a strong start.
Armed and ready.
But it's superficial. It's superficial. While killing those Zerglings kind of reduces the options for counterattacks.
Additional supply depots required.
It's not enough to be like, well, now Serral has to panic. No, he still has plenty. He has his upgrades. No drones died, right? Well, besides a couple from the Banshees, but that wall off there. It just gives Taeja a little bit more breathing room to get things like a third base, or fourth base rather. He's already going up to barracks 6 and 7. That's a high-powered economy.
Additional supply research complete.
The scan's coming through. Drilling claws on the way. Did he Now, Serral is going Mutas. We saw Mutas in the production tab, but Taeja doesn't know about it yet. Of course, the best defense against Muta. Oh, come on, Serral. You cheeky devil. He automatically restarted it right after. Taeja's like, oh no! Another set of mine hits. And now he sees the Mutas for sure. We're going to start the turrets. The TPM's going to raise. Taeja has enough supply here, and he has enough units on the field to be able to box the Mutas out. This is not a game just... oh, another one! Come on! He doesn't even have drilling claws yet. The Muta's coming to the back. But this game, Taeja's ready. He's not going to lose SCVs. He's already at 65 and counting. A Thor is on the way. Drilling claws is nearly done. The fourth base is under fire from a handful of Mutas. I don't know if he has quite enough Marines to deal with it now, but he can slow it down. Shouldn't take it out. That would actually be a huge mistake. You can see the difference between the Mutas coming in with no warning, and when he's been pressured so hard, they barely get anything done. Like, Taeja putting a lot more presence on the map. Just bullying Serral around. The armory. The precious armory. Oh, another one!
Additional supply.
I'm not sure if he got the +1. The armory actually looks like it will die. Another set of mine hit! Welcome back to Heart of the Swarm.
Additional supply
It looks like the
depots
+1 armor will
Upgrade.
actually finish, but the armory may burn down.
Command center
Cloak
upgrade
Banshees in the center of the map.
Our SCVs
But the Mutas have found an
are
opportunity in the main. The SCVs will repair, which means there's not enough Mutas to actually take that out so easily. The Thor drop coming in, not quite close enough. The Banshee's still going to work. Drilling claws is done. He's going to try to flank the Mutas. He'll find 1, 2... maybe 1. I don't know. There's still enough in the main. Finally, the Banshees, but he'll find some Overseers. Taeja has to rebuild his armor. That's actually big. And he's building in the same spot, of course. Because no 3-3. The armory burnt down. He slipped up a little on that before 3-3 started. So that's it's about a minute delay. And that means Serral has time to maybe kind of catch up or even up in upgrades.
Your forces
Oh my god. Another hit. But that's a lot coming in from Serral. That armory going to be delayed again. That could be the sticking point of this game. Look, there you go. You see why he builds the supply depots like that? The Marauders and Hellbats body blocking out. The Banelings can't come through. They holds the line. Oh, wait. Okay, the armory finished. That SCV, very cool under
Mineral
pressure.
field depleted.
That SCV was building that armory through that entire attack. Oh, Jesus.
Additional supply
He does finish it. Is he going to start his 3-3? There we go. He starts it. Okay, very important.
base is under attack. Your forces are under attack.
Zerglings. Well, the Mutas, he's boxing him out for now. 3-3's on the way. A huge drop. He knows the Mutas are stuck on that side of the map. There's literally no way he could be on the right side. Contact is coming in. Once again, we have sped up to another slugfest. I mean, we're already going hard on this. Taeja's been very cost-effective, but Serral has been essentially untouched economically. So that means he can afford. How is a Banshee still alive? Planetary? Does he have enough mains? Yes? Okay, well, that answers that question. Thank you. Thank you for answering my... Oh, that was a Banshee.
Mineral
There's a
field
double drop on the right side. That's actually a Muta flanking double drop on the bottom right. He's just waiting for the Mutas to try to sneak around. Will it pay off? We'll find out. Why are there still Banshees? All these units. Oh, well, he's gonna find something. He finds a counterattack. No, it's almost unlimited amount of Zerglings cannot kill that many Marines with 2 medevacs, especially without better upgrades. Mutas will help. Mutas help. But the rest of the reinforcements come to join up. Another planetary being built. And remember, the big key of Dreamcatcher was that Taeja was not able to reliably hold on to his 4th base, where on Blue Shift, which Taeja eventually won, but just barely, he was. He got his 4th base, and he pretty much held on to it throughout the game. Or at least didn't have much pressure on it. But Serral, he's made it up to Hive Tech. This is a very large map. There's a lot of distance to cover, a lot of bases to worry about. Maybe the most bases of any map in this map pool. I'm not sure if that's true. It feels like it, though. There's those middle bases that are almost never taken on the high grounds. I think Serral might have one right now. Ghost Academy on the way. +2 mech armor. 3/3 infantry weapons and armor about to complete. Another command center lifting over and another one being built on the left side. A big Zergling counterattack picks up, splits off against the Zerglings. Taeja counter splits. He actually almost retargeted that Widow Mine to be able to hit the huge clump of Lings and Banes. The reinforcements coming in. Taeja counter flanking from the back. Unburrows the Widow Mine again! The little micro here, but on the right side, does Serral have another option? Taeja immediately sprinting over right back. He knows something's coming. He can feel it. He can sense it. He knows a good player will be doing that. And he's facing better than a good player. He's facing the best player, Serral. He can't sleep for a second. No naps, no nothing. He's gotten a lot of good hits. But if Serral finds an opportunity, he'll take that tiny little gap and spread it wide open into a canyon. It's a weird thing to say. A lot of mines at the back, though. The Marines kind of caught in front of the Marauders, unfortunately, but he has... the Thor actually going to go down. Not a great trade for either side there. A lot of Banelings. I guess he got the Thor and a bunch of mines. Still enough economy. How many barracks? 8 barracks. He's got how many factories? 2 factories, 1 starport. But he's not spending all his money, but there's a lot of economy here. The Mutas, that's a weird place for them to be. Oh, he sees the Ultras. It might be time for Ghost. A drop to the top. Does he get the Widow Mines in place? He's just going to go for the drones. Serral reacts. Coming to a YouTube clickbait series near you. Serral reacts. The WCS Global Finals story. Top 10 ways you won't believe foreigners beat Koreans. Anyways, the Ultra taking a lot of damage. I'm not sure if Burrow is done for Serral. He's actually going to drive this back. The thing about Taeja is how decisive he is. He knows, I can fight that. Does it, like, several Ultras, dozens of Banelings, Mutas? No. I've got the right angle. I've got the control. I can handle it. A lot of Terran players will be like, I don't know, but I kind of got it. No. Taeja holds the line. He's literally walling off with Marauders at the front. But Serral is kind of untouched in that top left location. Oh my god, the wall Marauders of Widow Mines almost connecting, quite get the lock. A lot of the medevacs taking a lot of damage, as well as almost out of energy. Banelings trickling through. Serral losing control of some of his Banelings. The depot walls also doing a great job. But Serral with a counterattack. Is it going to make any progress? No, the depot's a beautiful Marauder wall. That's a thing now. A Taeja wall. I'm coining it. I'm taking it. It's a Taeja wall. When you wall off with depots and Marauders, that's a Taeja wall. Because you thought Banelings were good. Well, think again. He drops into the main. There's nothing here for Serral. Taeja was able to get the base. Gets the Spore Crawler. Make sure the medevacs can get out of there. Objective gaming here. He's going to target down 1, 2 Mutas. So, taking his pound of flesh. Still leaving a couple mines over there. They have drilling claws if there's no detection. There's a single Widow Mine in the mix. Both of them still at 200 supply. Still a huge economy. Where are the Widow Mines? That's a lot of Banelings, but they're off a creep. Do the Ultras have speed? They do. Is Burrow done? It is. There's probably... Oh, he realizes those are changelings. He doesn't have the little indicator. He just is like, wait a second, those aren't my Marines. Serral's starting to bank up some money here. He's got a Spire done, but Taeja's starting to build Ghosts. That was the key a few games ago. That's the ultimate late game for Terran. Now, you still got to get a lot done with them. The Widow Mine's finding some purchase on the right side. Serral has built up more resources so he can afford to be cost and effective. He has been. In fact, Taeja has... Well, Serral has lost 7,000 more resources. I'm not sure the split of gas to minerals, but...
Exhausted.
The thing is, he can replace them. That only matters if we mine out the map.
Command
Truly.
center upgrade.
Taeja stims, sees a bunch of banelings. He's like, no, I got this. Here come the Corruptors, though, giving away that tech. Widow Mine's dropping on the top left. A little bit of an awkward drop there. He's going to be forced into retreat. There's 3 mines, though. The Widow Mine dropped it pretty well. 12 drones go down, leaving Serral with 71. He scans. He sees the Spire. He might have seen it earlier from a drop, I believe. No greater Spire yet, so Broodlord's not on the way. He doesn't need to build Vikings. Lifts the command center. He's going to flank the Banelings. This is happening. This is a thing that is happening. Anyways, the Banelings still going to do pretty well because those Marauders need to go to rehab, but most of them are now going to go to hell. The Zergling's coming up. He's going to clean out all of that. Taeja starting to lose a grip on the map. Despite all of the damage he's done, despite how cost-effective he's been, Serral has been there. Serral reacts at every turn. The Widow Mines as well at the back. But the Ghosts come up. It looks like most of them got their snipes off. The Planetary will hold. The turret's not hurting as well. They're helping out against the Corruptors. Taeja needs to strike back. He finally gets the Burrowed. The Ghosts are on the field. He has 6 of them. Serral still being very aggressive, continuing with this very swarm Zerg. Lings and Lisks.
Mineral field.
Taeja taking, well, not really a breather here, I would say, but instead more of a pause in the aggression. And now he's going to move forward again. He took out the base. Serral is, well, he still has 2 or 3 bases mining. So does Taeja. The incomes are insane. We're at almost 3,000 minerals a minute. Serral has 1,500 gas a minute. So that's the big win. Taeja not quite mining all his gas on most. The target fire on the Planetary to... Oh my... He might save the Planetary because he target fired the Banes. He doesn't. But he killed more Banes because of that target fire. Planetary Fortress Micro becoming very important at this stage of the game. Every Baneling, once it's gone, it's gone. He said very profoundly. There are some mines at the back. You got to be careful. The drop being cleared up. A couple Banelings coming in. A counterattack right in the production line. Taeja's committed a lot to the top left of the map. He can't be losing too many SCVs. He's down to 40. He's dipping dangerously low. He doesn't have that many orbitals here. He's building. That's going to be a Planetary as well, of course. Some snipes come out. That Ultra will be going down. That's so many Banelings. He's got 40. He's got more on the way. Wave after wave we saw in the previous game. Still more SCVs dying. Finally, the counterattack is cleaned up. Moving forward is Taeja. You got to be real careful with those precious Ghosts. The medevac count, he has 11, but I'm not sure where all of them are. The Widow Mine's coming up. Oh my god! All we see is a detonation from the Widow Mine and from the Banelings being hit by it. A massive Widow Mine hit, but is it enough? He's on top of the base. That medevac will survive. Can he kill the base? Taeja's been denied the bottom right. He needs to deny Serral the top left in turn. He's doing a good job so far. Another big Widow Mine hit. We saw it on the mini-map. Continuing to work his way through. Taeja is out of gas. Literally. He's not mining any. He can't build any more medevacs. He can build nothing. Just Marines. He needs more gas mining. He's trying to take more bases. He has good mineral income, but eventually, once your gas units, you do need gas. Marines can't win. You can't do this on your own with just Marines. There's so much going on. He has to keep the pressure on. He cannot let Serral breathe. He's building those refineries now. He's cleared out this base. He needs to get the right side as well, ideally. And Ultralisk is in the mix here. The Widow Mines! Oh, doing well, but not well enough. The gas mining needs to come up. Taeja getting ground down. Serral just holding on. He's so flexible. He'll give up bases. He'll give up ground. He'll give up creep. But he's not giving up the game. Taeja dipping in supply, desperately trying to find some mining of gas. He's taking that top left location, doesn't even have the gas for a Planetary. Widow Mine's being pre-triggered. He's going to reburrow one. It's going to go down before it finds an opportunity. The rest of the bio is coming up. Serral moving in potentially for the kill. He's going to snipe off Overseers. There are Ultras trickling in. The Marines at the back. Marauder, the Taeja wall trying to hold the line. It does, but it's not enough. Just the Ghosts survive. Taeja knocked to 100 supply. trying to get some snipes on the return. But is that it? 11 SCVs went with it. Serral, 200 supply. He continues again. Wave after wave after wave after wave.
Unacceptable landing zone.
The swarm is endless.
Mineral field
Taeja,
depleted.
he's put up a massive fight. There's so many. The fact he's kept so much pressure on this huge map is ridiculous, but he's bleeding out. He's gonna need. He only has 7 ghosts left, which is significant, but not enough. There's 3 medevacs. He's making 12 marines because he has no gas. And a couple, like 1 baneling mine. Wouldn't that be a perfect ending? It's looking desperate. He picks up in the Neosteel Command Center, trying to save it. The SCVs, don't go down with the ship. With that extra, there's the real buff to Terran. That extra 5 slots in our command center. Taeja, oh god, oh no. Oh, that was a desperation move. That was very un-Taeja-like there. He knew he wasn't going to kill that base. He still went for it. Oh no, he just dropped the mules. He can't. There's a burrowed link. Serral is everywhere. 513 actions per minute from the Finnish Zerg. Taeja, his comeback story looking bright, but he's not there yet. In come the banelings, the corruptors. He's cleaning it out. Only the ghosts remain. A shell of his former self. The corruptors are going to kill the base. The banelings come forward. He's got the overseer. He has to pick up the desperation. Down goes the orbital. But an insane series from both sides. And I hate when people use terms like insane. This guy's a monster. Both these guys are monsters. Just using those generic terms. Robbing them of their import. But here I think we can say that was an insane series. Like, apparently, I've been told there were some baneling mines I missed. Or like baneling mines that were never triggered. I know there are baneling mines somewhere. Where were they? Out on the map. That sounds like something. Of course, this match was from Homestory Cup 18. You can watch the live couchcast. I don't know where they... Actually, I gotta go to this. Maybe I could just go to the everyone cam. I assume there were baneling mines that gave everybody blue balls during it. Yeah, and now the real buff to Neosteel Armor would be if it could let buildings land on units that weren't massive, right? It's like, why can't I land my command center on a Zergling? Because then the Zergling gets inside... and everybody thinks it's so cute, they get distracted. That is why. But... what a series. Exhausting. That was over an hour. Well over an hour. Maybe over an hour and a half of game time. Which is quite a long... especially for a best of 5. Just ridiculous. Let's see, I can actually add it up. 24, 39, 108, 116. Yeah, but 1 hour and 35 minutes, give or take a minute or two. So, what a series! Oh my god. Taeja's back, everybody, but Serral's still the king. That's what I got from that. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram to help my modeling career. Find me on Snapchat by turning off your phone because I don't use Snapchat. You guys have phones, right? Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the first-person look. And of course, there's more StarCraft wherever I go. And thank you to Homestory Cup as well. That's for the YouTubes. We gotta double down. Okay. God. Now my voice. I keep killing my voice because these games are too sick. God damn it. Not again. Whatever. I just gotta take a day of no casting. Okay.